friends of the internet, welcome to General Nerdcast. We have a very special episode today. This is our first episode with Taylor.
Yeah.
Wave to the people.
Hi, I'm not special that way.
All right. Well,
Just as in this is the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Special.
So we're gonna start a new segment thing Friday episode. Thing,
Yeah,
and it's gonna be
another change to our format.
Yeah,
again.
we're changing again. We're gonna call it Fun Facts Friday with Taylor.
I like that.
Yeah, and we're gonna do fun facts with Taylor.
Yeah.
Today we're gonna talk about games that were at E3 that we're excited about. So it's not gonna be exactly fun facts with Taylor. It's gonna be more. Let's just talk about video games with Taylor this time. But
Well,
after this,
hang on. I think the facts that I have, which, as far as I can tell, are facts,
well, yeah, okay,
are going to be fun.
All right, fine. We all have facts on what we're gonna talk about, but this isn't.
But my facts should be fun.
Okay, Taylor has fun facts.
He does.
Like, I think people are going to get amped on these facts. That's what I'm saying.
I think of all of the facts, Taylor's got the fun ones.
The fun facts?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So, I'm going to go through facts about Detroit Become Human, the game that'll be out later. It doesn't have a release date.
I'm going to talk about Destiny 2 because I'm a whore for Destiny, apparently.
He is a slut for Destiny.
I have some interesting questions for you then.
Okay.
When we get into the Destiny topic.
Okay. And Taylor's going to talk about...
I will be dropping some bombs on the Creation Club that Bethesda announced specifically for Skyrim and Fallout 4, which, as many people might think, is paid mods.
Paid
But-
mods.
Really, it's not, and you need to get over it.
I like it.
But we'll get to that.
Okay. Since we didn't talk about who's going to go first, who wants to go first?
Yeah. How about...
I'm interested in the Destiny. Personally.
All right. We could start with that.
Hit us up with the Destinies.
So, right now, they've got 4 different planets. You got the same allies as the Vanguard. Unfortunately, I didn't say anything on the small, extra factions for who you align with Dead Faction or any of that.
Those guys, yeah.
So I'm not sure if they're brought back or if they're going to be spread between each town and whatnot. And this one's going to be more focused around fighting the Cabal, mainly. They're still keeping all the alien races.
Those
but
mother bitches.
yeah, they're back again to screw us up. Main one is Dominus Gaul, or
Gary.
I'm just going to call him Gary, just because that's stuck in my head now.
Just because it's funny when he...
Yeah. That was
Gary,
a
or
good preview.
something. It starts with a G.
He's in charge of the Red Legion of the Cabal, who are pretty much like the badasses. Whenever they want a world conquered, they send them in.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of how he was able to take down the tower. The last city has fallen and everything. It's been displayed in almost every trailer so far for it. And 4 planets they have are Earth, 2 moons, Titan and Io, and then a planetoid called Nessus.
I'm just going to correct you real quick. It's pronounced Earth.
Earth?
With an F.
Oh,
Will Smith says.
it's Earth. Got it.
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. Got it. Well, the last city's gone, and the new zone you're going to explore is the European Dead Zone, ground zero for cataclysmic event that left a shard of the Traveler there. So that's what that big thing is Piece of the Traveler, which I was actually wondering about when they showed the picture for it.
Travel boy.
Yeah. And then Titan, Moon of Saturn, it's just remains of an old human civilization, but it's a world of water, essentially, so
Not
there's
Earth.
always going to be
Earth.
little more water on this one than Earth.
I like it. I like water.
Like Europa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Europa.
Yeah. Like science.
Science.
Nessus is like a giant force planet, but it's also been machined on the inside and out by the Vex, so they're kind of turning force into mechanical everything.
Can you believe they would do that?
Yeah,
Those
maybe.
frickin' Vex boys.
Then you got Io, the moon of Jupiter. I think it's going to be the final place you visit. It's apparently a great interest between every species, every planet, or every species wants to get whatever's on that planet, all the information, all the secrets it holds. Mainly, it's the Vex and the Cabal you'll probably be fighting on that one. I think that's more of the higher level end tier zone from the way that it played out.
Okay.
And then there have been some previews for one of the strikes that's been coming out, the Inverted Spire. That was actually pretty cool looking. The boss fight took place on 3 different platforms. That was really fun.
And it took them way too long. And their person with them was awful.
Yeah, the Warlock I watched was not good.
It's terrible.
He died a lot.
Just say it. Terrible.
And there won't actually be...
if you're going to pronounce Earth, then you need to pronounce terrible.
Okay,
so.
it was turfable.
Turfable.
Let's just get a pronunciation right.
One of the things that is kind of a positive is there's not going to be any mention of the darkness in Destiny 2. Like, they're kind of getting away from that because it's been admitted that they had no idea what the darkness actually was supposed to be.
We still don't know what it is.
Is that kind of like this monster from Lost? Like,
yeah.
They were just winging it the whole time. Like, I don't know. Here's a polar bear. Now there's a latch with some numbers and clicks and whatever. Keep going.
Just keep filming. It's fine.
Yeah. So they're getting. It's not. It's okay. It's not a dead idea. They're still holding on to it, but they're not going to have anybody mention it or anything because essentially it was a black blob that you don't really know what it did. So
yeah,
it kind of was there and it made things angry.
I've probably played 100 hours of that game and I still don't know what the darkness is.
Nobody does.
I feel like a black blob is ambiguous enough though, where like they could just kind of shuffle it out and it'd be all right because it's not like. Let's say that I don't know, Loki. I'm just thinking Loki as like a main evil derivative in the Thor universe. It's not like if you just got rid of Loki, people would be like, wait a minute, I identified with that guy, like I knew who he was, he talked. Like this is just a black blob where they're like, well, it's not as relevant.
I mean, it's there. We're just not going to talk about it anymore.
Maybe this black blob is now the new enemy, and because we never went into depth, now it has transformation powers, and that's why it's the new enemy. So there you go.
They could very well do that.
Somebody call Bungie. We just made the new game.
Yo, 10%. That's all I want.
Dude, 10% of that game, we would never have to work again.
Nice.
What else we got for the Descarney?
The Descarney?
Scap for Dobu.
I'm really excited about all the new guns they're coming out with. Like, the pistol that was shown off in the game was really cool. It essentially had, like, just a giant orb you used to reload with it. They have one of the heavy weapons, I'm pretty sure what it is, looks really cool. I saw the grenade launcher or the multi-rocket shooting one.
Yeah.
Looked awesome. Like, I think it shoots like 20 rockets out of the front or whatever it is.
Dang. That's too many rockets.
just a few.
There's too many.
There's no such thing. Can you have too many chicken wings?
Yeah.
No.
No? Alright. There's your answer for rockets.
Can you have too many days off at the beach?
Yeah, if you get really bad sunburn.
Yeah.
No, because then you just get tan. That's what your melatonin's for. Not melatonin. Whatever your skin pigment is, that's what that's for. You're just going to get more and more tan.
But
there's no such thing.
Okay. No, there's no such thing.
Too many rockets doesn't exist.
That's not proper English.
More rockets is más bueno.
And they just have a whole new array of weapons, which is really exciting. Unfortunately, I don't think they put out a bunch of information on which ones, like all of the new weapons, but one of the, what was it? I got the
horseshit.
yeah, that's exactly it. we got new subclasses. The Sunbreaker is the one I think everybody's most excited about. Essentially, it turns the Warlock into a fire demon with a giant flaming sword.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you have like angel wings, but you have a giant sword and you're on fire, so it's kind of you're an angel devil thing. So I mean,
it's really interesting. The Titans ones. The Titans
like a paladin.
Yeah. We call him that.
Yeah.
We call him a paladin.
Yeah, that makes more sense than how we're trying to describe it.
Right. Taylor, you're good with words. Thank you.
Yay!
The Titan one, unfortunately, I'm kind of spacing the name right now, but that one should be useful if people actually use the shield.
Dawn Guard or something?
Yeah, I don't know if they're just using the same old name for it or not.
Yeah, okay.
But essentially, if people actually use the shield instead of Titan throws it down and they all run off in different directions, then which is
we all know how people play games.
Yeah.
And you put a shield down. You're like, all right, guys, I'm gonna put my shield down, and you put the shield down, and they all run around it.
Yeah, they run around it to go stand in the fire.
Yeah. Like, oh.
Is it called the Striker?
No, that one's the old.
Oh, that's the old one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the old ones where
that was all
basically
videos.
crushes everything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull facts up as we talk.
That's all right. I mean,
Fact Friday.
Fact Friday.
And then the beta, you have to pre-order to get into the beta, but I believe the first beta starts July 17th, 18th weekend.
Yes. That was the last thing I saw.
Yeah.
That one's the early beta, and I think they're going to have an open beta towards the end of July or beginning of August.
Yeah,
I synced it, guys. I synced it.
I think they're having a couple of different beta weekends.
Yeah, I think the last one they do is going to be an open beta for people that didn't pre-order.
Yeah,
I think that's what they're going to run because you don't try the game before you pre-order betas. Pre-order the beta? That's dumb. I don't know why you would say that.
I don't know why you're.
I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I'm planning on it.
Yeah, I'm going to soon. I'll probably actually wait for my next paycheck.
Yeah, I'll probably wait until we get closer to the beta weekend.
Yeah.
So I did pull it up real quick. The angel, fire angel thing is called the Dawn Blade.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got the it just says new Striker Titan.
Yeah.
A gunslinger.
Yeah, gunslingers.
And a Warlock Dawn Blade. Oh, that's just what this popped up. I don't know if that's canon.
Yeah.
The gunslinger is going to be the new Hunter one, which is very similar to the Golden Gun. It seems.
That's what the old one was called, was Gunslinger 2. So it might just be the updated version of it.
So the Warlock's one, it's like a real new one.
I think they announced the other ones. Unfortunately, I don't. Yeah, they did announce the other ones. The Hunter's going to get like just
the Hunter Arc Strider.
Yeah, that's the his arc blade. That's from the first one. He's getting like a staff type ability. I believe it's the void damage.
Oh yeah, and he turns in like hardcore parkour.
Yeah, he's a hardcore parkour person. That's right. And then
Titan, his super is the arc staff, a roaming super with a staff powered by arc light.
Yeah,
that's what this is.
And I'm pretty sure the Titans is just the defense one, the shield one, but I might be mixing up with just the video I watched. Unfortunately,
yeah, I don't know.
So unfortunately, I don't remember that. My facts are kind of spread all over the place from what I'm trying to remember and what I have written down, because I don't have all my notes that I've ever written on this game. But
that's fair.
Yeah, I remember a bit of it. That's kind of what I got. It'll be out later this year. September.
Can I ask you some questions about Destiny?
Yeah.
Just to kind of get, because I played Destiny very briefly.
Oh yeah.
And as a gamer, I have a really hard time, especially with any new game, whether it be The Evil Within or any of the new Pokemons or really any new game that comes out, because I feel like the bar that a lot of video games set is you have to have so much involvement. You have to commit so much time to these games because there's so much content to them to be able to fully, explore the entire game.
Yeah.
So, as someone who's obviously interested in Destiny, who's played a lot of Destiny 1, how do you feel that they're no longer going to be supporting Destiny 1. They're putting all their focus in Destiny 2. And as far as there's really going to be no transfer from your accolades and everything that you've earned in Destiny 1 up to Destiny 2. Like you're kind of starting from scratch. And within that same question, do you think that that's going to be the trend, and every couple of years they're just going to come out with the new Destiny and it's just back to basics with each one? Or do you think that they're going to find a way to implement some progress and keep the story, cohesive enough through all these where you can justify really spending a lot of time within this game?
Well, I'm kind of on the fence about it. I want to play the game. We did talk about this a little bit, but I hope they don't go on the path of just creating a new game every couple of years. That would be pretty big of a letdown to me, honestly.
Like
would not
Call of Duty or
Assassin's Creed or something.
Yeah.
But from what they've stated so far, they want to. This is kind of like a rebuild to the game that they're planning. Okay. So this is the restart. They're doing it because Destiny 1 did not turn out how they wanted. They had a very loose concept at the beginning, and they want to rebuild, restart, make it not so broad of, oh, you're fighting the darkness. You're a guardian of light. You are like a super person or whatnot. Like, they want to be more specific. Like, you're fighting this bad guy specifically instead of just a broad enemy.
That's kind of crazy to me, though, because I've talked to so many people that absolutely loved that Destiny concept where they could come in, and because it was so broad, people not necessarily familiar with first-person shooters or MMOs. I don't even know if Destiny is considered an MMO.
It's on the fence.
It's an easy transition into that style of game because it's not hardcore nerdy enough to, kind of push a casual gamer away. And then they get into it and they get all involved with, leveling up with their friends and getting these new weapons and what I would consider the more nerdy aspect of gameplay, where it's not so much about like, what am I actually doing with the controller? What is the actual gameplay? But how am I personalizing or relating myself to this character that I'm building with my outfits and my guns and my dances and things like that?
Yeah. That was probably the best way they could have started for Destiny, is having it so broad, because it would bring in... Okay. He's doing the Beyonce dance right now, and it distracted me.
Now I'm glad that I can't see you guys.
That was a good thing to start with, just because it is possible to bring in a lot of people because it's so broad. It's someone who can make their own story, but that also has it has an effect where I don't think a lot of people wanted to stay with the game because it was so broad. Just like, you're trying to work on something, but you kind of run out of ideas because there's no real goal at the end of the original Destiny, and I think that's kind of why the expansions were focused on this specific enemy or that one instead of the broad statement of you're fighting some evil stuff.
You're fighting the darkness that's mean to people.
So, right, and not to detract too much, but that's kind of the issue, at least with the small time that I played with Shadow of Mordor, was I felt like the enemy process was too repetitious, and every mission that you went on, it was just, you're going to go here and kill this group of people, and then you're going to go here, kill this group of people. So I kind of relate that, like you were saying with the Destiny, where the end game is too broad for a normal gamer to really get invested into it.
Yeah. I think there will be a little bit of the same feeling with the end game. Well, it may not be as broad, but you still have to invest some time. So casual gamers may not be able to. Casual gamers almost are never able to fully experience a game like this because it has. You do have to get into the grind a little bit just to be able.
But at least it got copies of the game like in people's homes, being broad and kind of riding off the Halo coattails.
Yeah.
At least Anthem. At least it got it. at least it got it into people's homes, where
Yeah.
now they have the opportunity with these new updates with Destiny 2, where, you know, that to me, and I might be generalizing, but I picture a casual gamer as like a fraternity dude, right? That likes games with a lot of explosions and shoot 'em ups, and where they can bring their friends in and talk smack to each other. So from what I've seen with Destiny 2, at least like maybe those guys will like look over at their Destiny copy and be like, "Yeah, man, I could get back into that."
Yeah.
So,
We played
did
it
that a
again.
little bit, actually.
We talked about Destiny 2, and then like that night we were like, we should play.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, it worked.
Yeah, it's
yeah, because Destiny 1 was a great game. It was a good foundation
Yeah.
for the franchise that they're trying to create to kind of blossom, and I think it does really appeal to a broader range of people than a Call of Duty or a Pokemon or, you know, name your game.
Yeah, it's just funny to me that they're doing it this way, because like the week before the trailer came out, I said, like, all right, you fucked up. You made a mediocre ass game, and we all had a lot of fun on it and played a lot of it. And all of the problems that we had with it were like the tower was boring and it was stupid. And then I was like, you know what you should do is just blow up the tower, do what Final Fantasy XIV did, and destroy the world that you created and just rebuild it. And then like a week later, the trailer comes out and they're like, yeah, we're doing that. I was like, that's fucking cool. So
you know,
I mean, that's why I play Final Fantasy XIV again. Like,
just because they restarted.
Like, the initial game was trash, and then they come up and like Bahamut just comes and destroys the entire world, and then you're trying to like rebuild what you already had. And I was like, you know what? I can get into that. So now Destiny's doing the same thing, and I'm like, you know what? I could get into that.
Yeah, sometimes the reinvention.
Can you imagine the confidence that a video game has to have within itself to just be like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, just everything's done.
Just
Back to square one.
Start over.
I think with MMO type games, you have to do that because it gets so stale for so long. You can only expand so much to where you're like, you know what? We got to start destroying some stuff and replacing it.
Ruin everything.
Yeah. I mean, they did it a little bit in World of Warcraft where
Cataclysm.
they screwed up the world with Deathwing and everything, and then kind of had people work towards rebuilding it. So this isn't the worst idea. It's really early on for Destiny to do it, but
true.
That might not be the bad thing.
Game 2 versus Game 14.
But yeah, as for the not being able to follow up, like bring your stuff from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, it is with the idea of reinventing, I'm okay with it. But the fact that like I worked so hard to get the Thorn or like the achievement type stuff that you can get in the game, I'm going to be a little sad that I can't really look back on that unless there is a way, like a booklet or something that they kind of give to veteran players or something. But unfortunately, I am a little sad about that one.
Me too.
Well, I doubt it, but in a perfect world, hopefully they'll realize the dedication that people put into getting certain things within the game, and maybe within Destiny 2 they'll give you a little nod, like not necessarily let your achievements transfer over, but if they see like, oh shit, this dude did a lot, let's give him, you know, like an extra skin or an extra dance or something.
Yeah, a little something would be cool.
Give us a little throwback.
Yeah, it depends on what all their final decisions are.
I meant kickback, not throwback.
Throwback
was not the right word.
Something.
I'm dumb.
Anyways, I don't really have anything else to bring up on Destiny 2. I don't know if you guys have anything else to talk about, or I'm going to move towards.
No. Yeah, I was just kind of playing devil's advocate and asking some questions because, like I said, I personally haven't played the first Destiny all that much, and I imagine some of your listeners are in my situation where we have more questions than experience, and you know, kind of trying to validate, should I buy this game? Am I going to, you know, buy a game that I need to put a bunch of time into and then they're just going to ignore me again? Or as someone like you who's put in quite a bit more research, like, is there a light at the end of the tunnel where, like, no, you got to keep playing the game. Like, keep playing it, keep having fun, keep getting your friends in on it because, you know, it will be it will be worth it. Which obviously it's hard for you to say, but that was the point of the question.
Yeah. I definitely think it is a game worth growing, or a game that has grown in its process. It's gotten a lot better throughout the updates and everything they've done to it, expansions. It's gotten a lot better. I think this one will definitely be worth a buy, and it's not very hard to get into. Like, at least for me, it wasn't. I guess I've played a lot of different games, so that's probably why. But it really isn't that hard to get used to the feel of it. I think it's new player friendly. We'll see if the second one is the same, but I think it's very welcoming for the most part.
All right, last question.
Okay.
You have to compare the two. You have to.
Okay.
Destiny 2 versus, and this is in terms of replayability, No Man's Sky.
Ooh.
This is a great question for me because I've never played No Man's Sky.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Yeah, because No Man's Sky is just like, well, fuck.
I went back to it for a little bit. I wanted to go back to it, but that's a game where you're going to have to spend a lot of time in, and for someone like me who I pick up a ton of different games, No Man's Sky has a lot of replayability if you can focus on it. If you're not if you don't play long hours into that one, like if you're only playing 20 minutes, I don't think the replayability is worth it. Because 20 minutes, you're really not going to do much in that game.
That's
like,
very true.
You might just travel planet to planet, and you're like, oh well, I didn't even go on the planet. I saw it.
Well, that's about enough for that day.
Good game, everybody.
Destiny does have a lot of replayability, and I think Destiny 2 will have a lot. You can keep going back to it, or you can keep up with it the entire time. That one, even if you only play 20 minutes, you can actually get a mission done and feel accomplished.
Accomplishment,
Okay.
baby. Yeah,
That's good to know, because I personally didn't know that you could actually accomplish something worth doing that fast in Destiny. I kind of assumed it was more calling up your buds, hey, we all got to get on, hey, we all got to go do this, which would obviously add a bigger
some
time
parts of it.
Yeah, for the strikes and...
But yeah, knowing that you can kind of solo be productive within 20 minutes, I definitely think that's a good selling point.
Yeah, the story stuff you can get done, and you feel pretty accomplished. Their story definitely grew a lot, so I think it's going to be pretty great in Destiny 2.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Who wants to
Who
talk
wants to go next? Do you want to talk about Creation Club? Or do you want to learn about Detroit? Not like the real city, the video game city.
I don't know what you're talking about with Detroit, so that's where my interest goes, but at the same time, I am also super number one hyped about talking about Creation Club, so it's kind of up to you guys.
Then you go. Yeah.
Ah, right. It's important, and this is kind of what I was talking about to Tyler before we officially started, and it's kind of the game player's perspective of what something like the Creation Club is. So I don't want to just drop a bunch of facts on you guys necessarily. I want to open a dialogue. I want this to be an open conversation. And so with that, I need to open up with what your guys' thoughts or knowledge or lack of knowledge of the Creation Club is.
My knowledge is that Pete Hines came out and said, Creation Club, and then he showed stuff, and I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
That's where my knowledge starts and ends. I kind of didn't really pay... Hi, Alice. I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to what was going on because I just kind of didn't care. So, I mean, that's where I'm at.
Is it because you don't play Skyrim or Fallout 4, or just the idea of the Creation Club was boring to you?
I just don't play... I haven't played Skyrim since its initial release, and I played Fallout... I haven't played Fallout in probably a year, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't played Fallout in a while. I think it's a really cool idea just because with previous mods and whatnot, it disabled all your achievements and everything, where with this, it's something that you can have in your game and be involved with and actually get achievements, trophies, get that progress without screwing it up.
Yeah.
That's actually something that I did not think about and is not in my notes, but that is a very valid point. The fact that you can still work towards achievements while having non-vanilla gameplay.
Yeah.
So, kind of the first thing that I want to get out there is that my excitement for the Creation Club is really only relevant to a console player because I don't play Skyrim and I don't play Fallout on PC. And if you play on PC, no offense to PC players, but they've had access to mods for all these games and really any game that they play due to the PlayStation's... You having trouble?
Yeah.
Sorry, we had
Alice came in and opened the box and
I heard
the cord of the microphone.
I heard a loud thud.
Bye, monkey.
Yeah, there's a little issue.
We're good. We got it. Keep going.
Okay, so,
I was
anyways,
still listening. It wasn't like I wasn't paying attention. I was still listening. I was just watching the microphone like creep like this way, and then also just drop. So
Yeah, my sound got yanked.
oh yeah.
So Creation Club to me, honestly, isn't for PC players. That's not what this is about. That's not what Bethesda's game plan has been the past couple years, where they've started to implement mods into Fallout 4 and for Skyrim and introducing VR and Fallout 4 and Duke Nukem. In my opinion, PC players, they kind of already have it so good because of the capabilities and the customizability of a PC, and Bethesda recognizes that they put a lot more focus into their console players. And so that's what the Creation Club is for me, is more of a focus, more love towards the console players.
No, okay, I thinking of it like that is cool, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. I think it'll be a big bonus for console players. They did release mods on Skyrim and Fallout not too long ago, I'm feeling, but my time tracking is horrible, so I don't entirely know.
It's within the last year, I think. I tried to get on it, but the amount of mods that were available, I'm an Xbox One guy, not because I'm 100% loyal to Xbox One, but because the games that I typically like to play are playable on Xbox One.
Yeah. And
PlayStation's controller sucks, but anyways.
See, this is going to be fun.
I'm not even going to rebuttal that because fuck you.
So really, what is DLC? What do people already pay for? What are people willing to pay for? Season passes, things like that. They're looking for post-game content to the end of the package that they originally bought, whether it's new weapons, new characters, new skins. That's what a lot of the microtransactions are, where like in Call of Duties, you get crates and you might unlock like a skin for a character or blah, blah, blah. And even in Skyrim, their DLC was new locations, new characters. So to me, people saying paid mods is totally equivalent to them saying paid DLC. It's exactly the same thing. All it is extra content that you can willingly pay for to expand upon your game. You don't have to pay for it. The core game's already there. But if what is wrapped up in this package of extra content entices you, then yes, you can pay for it. So are using the term paid mods to downplay really how great the Creation Club is, because when Skyrim, and I'm speaking more specifically about Skyrim throughout this entire rant than Fallout, because I've played a lot more Skyrim than Fallout, announced that they were no longer releasing any DLC for Skyrim, like Skyrim players fucking were flipping tables like children on fire. They're like, wait a minute, there's so much shit left to do, and you guys aren't doing it. Like, it's there in the game. There's remnants of it, broken quests, broken items, things like this. You're like, it's there. You guys had it planned, but you stopped doing it. And they stopped doing it because they ran out of time. And so with this Creation Club, they're going to third parties, but guess what that means? That means that all these ideas, they get to say, hey, we really wanted to finish this, but we ran out of time because we had The Evil Within, The Evil Within 2, Fallout 4, Duke Nukem, whatever
Doom.
all these other Bethesda titles are. Doom, thank you. Not Duke Nukem, fuck Duke Nukem. But basically, like, hey, these are all the ideas that we had that were either limited by the 360 and the PlayStation 3 at the time, or they were limited based on what time we had to push this game out, because we had to release it on 11/11/11. It's very important, so any content that didn't make it before then got the X-nay. So the fact that they can now push this off to third-party people, qualified third-party people, is huge. It expands what Skyrim and I'm hoping Fallout 4 had in mind so much more that the game can actually become complete. Because if you put as many hours into Skyrim as I have, and I'm assuming again for a Fallout 4 person, you play through it, you get everything, and you realize that there really is so much blatantly game.
Yeah.
Whether it's a quest reward item that you find that, glitches your game because there's actually no quest attached to it, or an NPC that has some random dialogue referring to a quest or an item, or whatever that just isn't there, that they just had to leave in the game. This is Bethesda's opportunity and the community's opportunity to complete these games that are relevant since fucking 2011. It's 2017 right now. That's 6 years of a dedicated, hardcore fan base playing this game over and over and over and over and over and over because they want the game to be more. If the game sucked, people wouldn't mod it.
Yeah,
They wouldn't
true.
care about it. It's so good that people have been constantly tweaking it because they want it to realize its full potential. And with the Creation Kit and it being ran through Bethesda and ran through their Q&As and making sure that it's not going to conflict with any other mods, it's huge. It's huge for console gamers. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I heard an from Bob, so
You what? What happened?
Huh? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I heard an from you. So.
I was just gonna say that it kind of opens the door for like fan theories as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Weird like fan theories that they have, or like what was that thing where you write fan fiction? They can fan fiction in the game now. Like you don't have to think about it and be like, well, how cool would that be? You can actually build it and make it happen. So I guess that's cool.
Not necessarily. I think that falls more in line with where the free mods are going to be, because you got to know free mods will stay, whether it be for PC or PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. Free mods are going to be there. The Creation Club mods, at least the way that they're describing them, and obviously, this could all change when it actually comes out, but they're saying that you can't bring any old mod into the Creation Club and make a profit on it. So it's going to be 100% all new content. So you're not going to be paying $2 for like a dragon to be turned into a Thomas the Tank Engine, right? Or you're not going to be paying $2 for all the chicks to be wearing skimpy shit and their butts hanging out. That's not what it is. This is all new, brought out by either Bethesda or a third-party modder that is qualified enough where they have an idea for a mod and they have to submit it to Bethesda. Bethesda has to give it the approval process. It's like a 6-month process for the guy to even get paid. So again, to use the word mod, I don't think is appropriate. This is all going to be DLC. This is all going to be oversought and confirmed and tested by Bethesda.
Yeah, see, I didn't
Your free mods are still out there. Yeah, your free mods are still out there. You can still change the game however you want with the free mods. But this is new content. They've confirmed it's new characters, it's new quests, it's new places, it's new weapons. And even if the weapons, it might be, just a reskin of something, which would be unfortunate. But that's not going to be something from the Creation Club that people will pay for, right? Because that you can get the same mod for free somewhere else or something comparable. So a lot of people are worried that it's going to take away from the mods, but I think it's really just going to add to it. If you look up Skyrim builds on YouTube, the amount of ways that people restrict their games or tweak their games to be able to play a very certain way is indicative that there's still a lot that Skyrim and Fallout 4 can bring forward. So I think the Creation Club is what's going to allow that. And on top of it, specifically for PlayStation 4 members and mods, PlayStation 4 is very, very limited. Bethesda's agreement with Sony is very limited with what mods are actually available. And I think it's something called a script extender, where basically PlayStation 4 mods all have to only use content that can be found from within a game. So let's say that you had a longsword, right? I'm going to try to shape it. Let's say that you had a longsword. Here's my longsword. If you wanted to make something badass and put a couple blades on the edges, that's something that you could do within PlayStation, because you could just take the longsword and then you could take a couple axes and put one head over here and one head over here, so you get this big badass looking thing. But it's all content that's already within the game. Whereas on Xbox One, luckily, they've been able to add new stuff in. So instead of using a longsword that's already in the game and two axe heads that are already within the game and then just kind of smushing them together to make it look new, they can create an entirely new weapon. So that, I think this is really going to help PlayStation 4 players because it's endorsed by Bethesda. So obviously, whatever they put forward is going to work on all their platforms, which with the mods is not the case right now. Obviously, almost all the mods work on PC. Some of them work for Xbox One, and that's just based on the Xbox One's limitations on how much extra storage it has, and very few of them work on PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So it's going to kind of balance the playing field there. Let me look at some of my notes. Boom, boom, boom. We already got that.
You ever had one of those moments where you're like looking at yourself in a video that you're recording and you notice how long your hair is getting?
Yeah.
I know you don't. Your hair is like 85 feet long.
What's this now?
Just thought I'd share that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I keep like glancing over to make sure it's still going, like, you know.
Yeah.
And then like I look over, I'm like, damn, dog, look at that, look at them locks, bro. So yeah. Anyway,
looking down underneath your butt. All right, dude, we're digging down the rabbit hole. I'm going.
Oh shit.
So one thing to keep in mind is that Bethesda and Steam actually tried this before. So this is, there's no guarantee that this is going to be successful. Obviously, once it's implemented and once people actually have a chance to play with it, that's when Bethesda is going to find out, okay, this was a fucking stupid idea, or great, this is a good basis we can build from here for our future games. Mm-hmm. But they actually tried it once before with Steam, and that was actually quote-unquote paid mods. The problem was a lot of people who weren't the mod creators were uploading their content onto Steam. People were downloading it and making money off of it, or they'd advertise, this adds 46 new armor sets into the game, and then you download it and you pay for it, and then it would crash your computer because it was a virus. So when it was just this free open reign of modders just being able to upload their content, it became the Wild West, and that's what fucked up. And that's why Bethesda, it literally lasted like a day or two. It was so bad. But that's why now it is so good that it all has to go through Bethesda, because you don't run that risk anymore. No one's going to be stealing anybody's content, and no one's going to be uploading shit content that you're going to pay for. If you're going to pay for something, it's going to be because it's high-quality content. It might be stupid content like the Dwarven Mud Crab, but that Dwarven Mud Crab is going to be a fucking Dwarven Mud Crab, right? Yeah. And it's going to interact in your game how it should. So that's, that also kind of bolsters my excitement about this. Again, it's completely optional. You don't have to play it. Vanilla Skyrim in and of itself is a beautiful game. You start adding these new DLCs, and it's still a beautiful game. But there is something called the cutting room floor. Have you guys heard of that within Skyrim?
No, I don't think I've heard of that.
Nah, dog. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's
lay it on me.
You can get to it through PC and console commands, and it's called the cutting room floor. And basically, what it is it was it's a couple different things. It was the developer's test area for weapons, armor, items, blah blah blah, and it's also an area within the game where they store content.
Okay.
And so down in the cutting room floor, that's where you find a lot of the unique items, armor, characters, blah, 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 that aren't actually implemented into the game, but they're still in the game.
Okay.
So if nothing else, Bethesda already has all that content where they can just say, hey, just make this work now. Like, we didn't have time.
Yeah, I had no idea that existed.
So, and there's already mods that release it. It's called the cutting room floor with all the mods, and it just implements all that shit back into the game with the right script to allow it to work, and fix certain things, like the Ebony Blade. I don't know if you guys know about that, but it's a weird weapon it's a two-handed sword, but it only benefits from one-handed perks, and it can't be smithed. Well, mods like the cutting room floor will fix that to make the weapon act like it is. But really the most important thing, in my opinion, about this creation club is because modders either have to apply with their ideas or they have to get sought out by Bethesda, it's going to raise the bar for the quality of mods so much because anybody who takes modding serious wants to get fucking paid.
Yeah,
you want to get paid for it. And that means, unfortunately, to some of these modders, they're going to be creating these badass mods that Bethesda just doesn't like in the hopes that Bethesda is going to like it.
Yeah.
And then when Bethesda shuts it down, what are they going to do? Just say, okay, well, I took all this work and, whatever, throw it out the window? No, they'll still release it as a free mod. So the bar that all these mods are going to get to, I'm hoping the Creation Club is going to take it there. The quality is just going to be so much better, and it's finally going to allow console users to take games that they love, take old games, take scenarios, playthroughs, builds, RPG, role-playing that they want, self-imposed restrictions, and actually have the company that built the game give them that content. Yeah, it sucks that you have to pay for something that you've already paid for. You've already paid for a game and paying additionally, but it's optional. You don't have to do it.
You don't have
and it's not. It's not like a. I'm not gonna. It's not like a Call of Duty game, right? Where someone gets lucky and they get a good drop and they get a really fucking good gun or a good mod of a gun, and then they inherently have an advantage over everybody else because they got lucky or they spent enough money to get it. No, this is a single player game.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your stuff is. You can change the difficulty of it. So there's not nearly as much pressure for these microtransactions as there are in other games. And so in my opinion, it's not milking a franchise. It's Bethesda buying time, reinvigorating a franchise until they come out with the next Elder Scrolls and the next Fallout because their ambitions are always so big. And they aren't there yet, and they need more time, so that's why they're putting focus into stuff like this.
That's a fun way to look at it. And you explaining it to me makes me more excited for it, because like I said, they said it, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, cool, more Skyrim stuff, more Fallout stuff, we're doing this again, great. And when you get into the details about it, like you were just talking about, it definitely makes it sound way more than it sounded. When Pete Hines just kind of was like, yeah, this is what we have. And I guess when you dig deep into it and you actually do the real research, it's way better than I initially thought. So I'm
good.
Thank you for that.
Good. That's what I was trying to do.
You made me excited.
Because I think it's mucho hype. And people just
hype.
They just automatically have that mindset of, oh, it's paid mods. Oh, it's paid mods. It's going to suck. Oh, it's paid mods. It's like, there's so much more to it.
Well, let's see, and then this is...
Like, would you be mad if you were eating a pizza, right? And the waitress came up to you and was like, hey, you want some more pepperoni on that? How about a side of ranch? Let me refill your drink. You're like, no, I already got my pizza. I already got my drink. I don't need more. It's like, fuck yes, you need more. Everyone needs more. That's what you want. You're enjoying it. You want more of what you enjoy.
Would it suck if somebody brought you more pizza? Okay, that's a really good way to put it. So I've totally lost my train of thought after that.
Hashtag Creation Club is more pizza.
Oh, I know. I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say gamers are babies, and they hear him say, "Oh, we're gonna have Creation Club, and it's gonna be people make mods and you download and pay for them, they just immediately go to that place where, oh, this is bad, it's paid mods, this is stupid, I don't like that, instead of actually looking into it.
Right, but then you're like, think about everything else that you spend money on. I mean, for God's sake, World of Warcraft, you're paying $15 a month just to play that game, but you're going to complain about someone paying, $5-6 to add content onto another game? Like,
yeah.
Every gamer pays for what they want. Yeah. And to talk poorly about paying for more gaming when you probably pay more for more gaming just for a different game.
True.
It's just so hypocritical.
This is why
it's cool. It's gonna be cool.
Gamers are babies. Finger
gamers are babies.
Gamers are babies. So, what else? Do you have anything else on that, or do we kind of run its course? Are we good?
Nah, I could scroll through my notes. There's a million things that I wanted to talk about because I've been solely a console gamer for past decade, and so I get really excited when my window opens up. So there's more things that I'm sure I could talk about and stuff I forgot to talk about, but I think I got my point across.
Yeah.
Creation Club is going to be dope.
Well, I guess
or not. And if it flops, it flops, and who cares? Skyrim is still great. Skyrim is still going to have mods. Fallout 4 is still great. It's still going to have mods. Like, they're still coming out with new games in the future. So if it flops, like, who gives a fuck? Like,
gamers are babies.
Yeah,
we bitch and complain about dumb shit. Let's be honest.
This is going to be a good thing, I think. You're going to see a lot more passionate mods than the standard ones, like you were saying. Like, there's going to be a lot more detail. Or
turning all the dragons into Thomas the Tank Engines. Or all females are only in their bare undies. Or what are some others? I've seen some really, really stupid mods, and I'm just like, why would someone download that? And it's like 4.5 out of 5 stars downloaded.
Yeah, wasn't there one where, like, magic, you threw cows or something instead of, like... when you use magic, cows came out of your hand instead of, like, fire.
Name your poison. I'm sure it does it with, like cheese. Oh, there is actually one that I thought was absolutely hilarious. One of my coworkers, Brett, he's solely a PC gamer, and so he has when Skyrim... what do they call it? Super Edition? Limited Edition? Remastered Edition? Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the new Skyrim was, or the re-release of Skyrim, when it came out, he got special. Thank you. He got back into it, and he was downloading all these mods and telling me about it. And I'm like, "Fuck, man! Like, I don't have that on my Xbox. I don't have that on my Xbox." But one of the funniest ones was anytime a guard says "took an arrow to the knee," they get struck down with a bolt of lightning. It just kills them. Like you don't have to do anything. You'll just be walking into a city and some guy will be like, "Oh, I used to be an adventurer like you." Kapow! Dead.
You have been smoked.
I was like, I'd pay $2 for that.
That one's pretty awesome.
Just to walk, I would just walk through towns all day. Just walk in and out, back and forth.
Just sit there and talk.
Just check. Check with any guard. Be like, "Hey, did you used to adventure like me?"
I have a question for you. Were you an adventurer like me? I was an adventurer like you. Yes, he's gonna do it.
Oh, actually, sorry. I really want to move on, but I did do a little bit of research into Skyrim over the last decade, and the phrase "arrow to the knee," and this is kind of a credit to Bethesda and how they didn't just come up with a funny line just because they thought that it was funny. But the phrase "took an arrow to the knee" is actually, I think it's an Icelandic phrase that would be equivalent to us saying, like, "Oh, my old ball and chain."
Yeah.
So when they got married, they would say they got an arrow to the knee.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I did read something about that.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it comes from.
That's fun. That's cool.
I like that little factoid. Yeah. I remember seeing that somewhere.
Little bitty baby factoid. So, all right.
Enough sucking Bethesda's dick.
I mean, if you're done. If
they have a long list of dicks.
Pete Hines is the one that matters.
A lot of dicks suck.
All right,
I'm Gucci.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'll move on to Detroit Become Human. It's PS4 exclusive. It'll be out. ? There's no release date. It's not going to release.
Oh, PS4 now, huh?
hey, Mr. Xbox can do this guy over there with your shitty controller. So it's gonna be a neo-noir thriller, action-adventure, third-person game. It's being developed by Quantum Dream, published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, which is why it's a Sony exclusive. The plot is basically there's 3 different androids that you're going to be playing as, and there's one of them's named Kara, will be voiced by Valerie Curry. She escaped a factory, and she wants to explore her sentience. She doesn't want to be a slave like the androids are in the world.
Yeah. So
she kind of wants to make her own thing and figure out what the world's all about. Connor is voiced by Brian. Can't read my handwriting. His job is to hunt down deviant androids like Kara. So, there's probably gonna be stories between them that he's looking for her and she's running away. So,
yeah.
And the last one you're gonna get to play as is Marcus. It's voiced by Jesse Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He's the hot boy in Grey's Anatomy. But he plays. So Marcus, he's devoting himself to free all of the androids from servitude of the humans, basically. Each character of the 3 characters can either die or survive to the end of the game, depending on the choices that you make. It kind of like if a player dies, there's no game over screen. That character is just dead, and the story goes on without them. So
like all quests or anything related to them, it's just like, oh well.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever played Heavy Rain, but it's like the same thing.
Yeah,
same.
Skyrim has the similar
No, but
stuff.
Yeah,
that's a concept that I do actually really dig. Like, not that.
Director-writer David Cage, he also directed and wrote Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, which is kind of like what these games are about, or kind of like what they're like. The game actually started out as a tech demo. It was called Kara, and they showed it off to show off their new engine.
Oh, okay.
And it was never kind of a plan to create the game, but the David Cage, the director and writer, when he wrote the tech demo part, he got so curious to what was going to happen next that he kept writing the game. So I thought that was kind of cool, because he was like, yeah, it's just a tech demo, I'm not going to do anything else with it, and then like he thought about it and went, I want to know what's going to happen next. So he wrote it. Finished it. It's kind of the whole thing is kind of the whole game is kind of inspired by a book that he read by Ray Kurzweil. The Singularity is Near. It kind of explains how the human intelligence, how we develop intelligence pales in comparison to machines. So that's kind of like where he got the idea from it. When they were writing the game, they actually visited Detroit to actually meet the people there, talk to business owners, stuff like that, to kind of get the feel of what the city's actually like.
Yeah.
They built a whole new engine just to complement the game.
None of them got stabbed when they were doing that research?
Probably.
Because Detroit's fucking sketchy.
Yeah, dude, it's scary as hell. They casted 220 people for 300 roles from all over the world. It was a 1.5 year process to shoot and animate this game, so it's been in development for probably 2 years now. It took David Cage 2 years to write it, and then another 1.5 years for them to film and shoot and animate the game. So this game's been like a 4-year
project.
Thank you. Project. I was like, what the fuck is the word? So
the girl kind of looks like Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying that. So when
God, it looks good though.
When you're doing it, and when you're going into it, you're kind of trying to collect information about the scene that you're in, so that you can figure out what choices you want to make when you start talking to people. So you go around and collect it, and the more information that you collect, and in the time limit that you have, I guess it's gonna be like you can only have a couple minutes in each scene. So the more information you collect will help you reconstruct and replay everything so that you do make the right choices. So everything is choice. You have a choice to make in pretty much every single time.
Yeah.
It was they chose Detroit as their setting because kind of like to revitalize the city that succumbed to an economic decline in the game. after making such historical contributions in American history, they're kind of like, well, let's do this and we'll rebuild Detroit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so Kara is, she's one of the androids that escaped the factory. She's trying to explore her sentience. Her story seems like she's just going to be kind of running away from Connor, which is the cop. And Connor is he's an android police officer that basically goes through and tries to find other androids that are, sentient and can make their own choices, and he wants to take them back to the factory so they can figure out what the hell went wrong.
Yeah.
Or he's just going to kill them, depending on the choices.
Did you say Cora's the little girl?
Kara is the lady that
Kara.
She escaped the factory. Who's the one that looks like Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
And
Because I'm looking at a couple of pictures, and I see the cop holding a little girl that looks like she might be an android too.
No, that's a real little girl. It's one of the, they each have their own trailer. Each three character has their own trailer, and in that trailer, he shows up to not an interrogator. What's the thing where they go to talk to the people so they don't do something?
Hostage negotiator?
Negotiate. He goes there to negotiate the situation because what's happening is like that android worked for the family and he kidnapped the girl and shot some cops, so he's kind of in there and he's kind of like trying to figure out what's going on. And some of the choices that you have to make, if you make the wrong one, he just jumps off the building with the little girl. He'll shoot you. There's like a bunch of different ones that you can do. And
those are always fun.
Do you know if there's can you make like collectively enough bad decisions where it's just game over? Or do you think that it always kind of finds a way?
If all three of them die, I don't know exactly what would happen. So I have no idea. I mean, eventually, I'm sure that the story has to end if they're all dead.
Yeah.
So it
could be an hour and a half gameplay or 20-hour gameplay
yeah.
based on your decisions.
How will their story play out? I'm killing everyone.
Okay. I made all the bad choices and everybody's dead. And Marcus, like I said, he's trying to free all the androids from servitude. He in the trailer, it's weird. He touches one of them, and
I'm watching the trailer right now. By the way,
he changes their mind about the whole situation, and all of a sudden they're on his side.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's got a power that he can do that or something. So it was kind of weird.
It's like unlocking the restrictions in their head or something.
Yeah, it was like he's like that, and his whole thing, his main parts are you can either do things passively, or you can do things violently. So from the trailers, from the what's the thing?
The preview.
Yeah. Thank you. God, my words.
This man's a Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and there's ones where she was like, destroy this thing. It's the only thing humans understand is violence, and your options are to take the Molotov cocktail or refuse it.
Yeah.
And if you take it, he throws it and burns up the whole thing. And it's really, this game is really, really super interesting to me because I really loved Heavy Rain. I didn't play Beyond Two Souls, but I heard it was really good too. I love games like this where you're just kind of every single choice that you make molds and shapes your story.
Yeah.
So the replayability is also really, really high in games like this, and I'm just really, really pumped. And I hope we get a release date very soon.
Yeah.
Was Heavy Rain the one where the dude loses his son, Jason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you're trying to figure out what the hell happened, and you play as the dude,
right.
You play as the cop, and you play as somebody else. I don't remember who it was. I can't remember now, but that game was really good, and I love that game. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to tell you on it, because that's pretty much all that's out for me to explain to you and tell you about it. So that's it. There it is.
The game looks exciting. I love the story, like the decision-making games. Like I liked Until Dawn because you could choose the type of path and
how they die.
I think I've only lost one. I still haven't beat.
I haven't finished yet either, but
yeah.
So I have a question to kind of close things out. Maybe kind of open up a little dialogue with all of us again, not specifically to a game, but how do you guys feel about console exclusive games, and do you think it hurts the industry? Do you think it helps the industry? Kind of what are your guys' thoughts on that? Because this looks like a really, really, really fucking good game, and I'm bummed that it's a PlayStation 4 only game.
Fuck it.
What?
PlayStation Master Race. So I feel both ways on this. I think to drive the industry, we have to have console exclusives. It helps them sell things and it helps them sell consoles. So I think for now, with where we are, with everybody has this, I only play this one console and that's it, then this has to be the way that it goes. Until we can all kind of like unify as gamers and just realize that playing games is awesome, regardless of what system that you're on, whether it's PC, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, until we can unify as a whole and realize that we're all in the same page together, we're all doing this to play video games, console exclusives have to exist.
I don't. I'm more on the side. I just don't like it. I think.
I hate it. It just has to happen.
Yeah, I want them more to be like, if it's going to be exclusive, just make it a timed exclusive. Like give people a year on this, and then you can open up the market to other consoles or something afterwards. I think it still work the same that way. They may not sell as many, but I can't say they wouldn't sell as many. They would sell a lot of copies, a lot more copies that way. Like, maybe not as many consoles, but the copies of the game would go up. I think those numbers would rise, and the game developers would be able to make a lot and probably make better quality games or release more DLC or options like that, because it isn't an exclusive market.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I definitely got to agree with you, Tyler, because there's a lot of games, specifically PlayStation 4 games, that I just will never play because I'm not going to go out of my way to buy a PlayStation 4 for PlayStation 4 exclusives. I already have my titles that I like within the Xbox, Microsoft family, and so it's easy for me to just continue to upgrade within that family. And so timed exclusive would be great, or, you know, gosh, even a demo, like, hey, try this game out on your Xbox. If you like it, you know, the full game is available on PlayStation 4. But to go and drop, to make that sort of investment just to start trying exclusive games that you may or may not even like is rough. That's kind of why I think GameFly is a really good idea, because, you know, they send you games and it's test it out for a little bit. If you don't like it, you can send it back. I wish you could do that with your consoles too. Like, oh well, you know, these PlayStation games look really good, so I really kind of only want to play PlayStation for a while. And my Xbox has become really stagnant, so I'm just going to focus on that.
That would be fun, like a console fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, console fly. Yo, trademark it. Just give me 10%.
10%.
But I personally think that if the general model for the version exclusives continues the way that it is, it's going to be more detrimental to video games than beneficial. But at the end of the day, let's be real. These people are here to make money. They don't really give a fuck.
Yep.
They're not thinking long term.
No,
If you want to play my game, you got to buy my console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree that if we keep going down the same path of the way that exclusives are happening, then it does hurt because
Everyone's just spreading.
Yeah.
You know.
And it divides us even further. Like, I mean, you and I can joke about me being a PlayStation guy, you being an Xbox guy. We can joke about it, but if you go,
well, you can joke because I win, but.
Well, yeah, because your console's but if you go into like a real forum and you start seeing and like trying talking to these people, like it's just back and forth. Oh, your console sucks. Xbox is better. PlayStation's better.
And it's such a stupid thing to argue about. It's like we're all a bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
Like we're all playing video games. Let's just enjoy the video game.
That's exactly my point. Until we can all just decide that we're all happy. Like, I'm happy with my PlayStation, you're happy with your Xbox. You play the games you want, I play the games that I want. And that's great. But until we can unify as a whole and be like, you know what, we're just a bunch of fucking nerdy gamers. I don't give a shit what console you're on. Let's just play games. exclusives are going to continue, and it's going to be the same exact way. We're all just going to hate each other because of the console that we play on.
I have the solution. I'm about to be the Neo of video games.
Lay it on me, Big Daddy.
We all need to protest microtransactions by never buying any more ever again.
Okay, that'll never happen.
And everyone needs to completely stop buying version exclusives. If it's a game just for a PlayStation, nobody fucking buys it. Nobody, not a single person.
See,
and they'll be like, well, maybe we should open it up to the other ones.
Yeah,
because I mean, that's obviously that's an extreme and that's a joke, but really that's the only solution.
I was gonna say, I agree that would work, but that'll never ever happen because like we're sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how it is.
Babies. Gamers are babies.
Yeah.
I got beer pong for my iOS. Oh wait, I can't even play that with you, Bob, because you don't have an iPhone.
Yep.
Everything's divided, and you live in a different state. Your taxes are different. Oh.
What a world we live in.
How do we even communicate?
Don't.
Yeah, that's true.
I think one thing that might help open up exclusives will be when games do start going cross-platform. It might make people, at least for multiplayer type games, maybe not the story ones so much, but it might make developers want to change their contract to where they can open it up to other companies, where they can share with Microsoft and Sony or even Nintendo or whatever it is. If more companies went with the I completely just spaced the word. Went with
cross-platform.
Cross-platform. Thank
Cross-play,
you. Yeah. So that's just my thought. It's not going to happen very fast. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be so interesting to actually have the numbers because you have to think about it. With Detroit, this new game that's coming out that Bobby was just describing, how many versions of that game are they willing to not sell on Xbox? And what is the dollar amount that they know they're going to miss out on? And then take that number, and that's what PlayStation is paying them at least to keep it version exclusive. Yeah. So PlayStation is basically buying those hundreds of thousands of copies right out the door that could be on Xbox just to keep it on PlayStation. I mean, those dollar amounts, that's fucking insane.
I never. I just pulled our ear out. We can't hear you, Taylor. I never thought about it like that, but yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense that they have to do that. Especially like with timed exclusives, I don't think they have to do it so much, but with like just straight exclusives.
Are there timed exclusives, or was that just Tyler's idea?
There's
they do like Tomb Raider. Yeah. The second Tomb Raider game was a timed exclusive. It was on Xbox only for the first like 8 months or something. But and then there's like timed DLC exclusives, like Destiny has some for PlayStation only or like stuff like that. But what's that saying?
I don't know.
I lost it. Anyway, so I it's interesting to think about the money that Sony or Microsoft have to pay to have it on their only thing, and I never thought about it. The fact that the money that company is losing, are they paying them that, or is it just kind of like, well, you're making it, we're gonna publish it, so you have to put it on our console only. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting how that process works.
To be a fly on the wall.
I don't know if I'd want to find out about it because naivety is bliss, and I just want fun games to play out of. I don't necessarily know if I want to find out that the leaders of all these video game companies are really vampires that are just sucking the life force out of all of us. And it's like, no, you can't be on that console. No. Like, wait, you guys are mean, but you make really fun games.
You guys are mean, but you make really fun games.
I don't know how much I like Mass Effect anymore.
Yeah. So, unless we have anything else we want to talk about, we'll close her out.
I think that's it.
So, we didn't do introductions.
Closing statement, paid mods is not a bad thing. That's all I'm saying. It's the verbiage paid mods that you don't like, but you love the concept, and you just need to admit it to yourself. You love paying extra for extra shit.
Yeah.
Only if the word paid and mods isn't involved.
Yeah, if they would have
It's the
said
same thing.
if they would have said that like it's DLC, I would have been like, oh, cool.
Right, if they're like Skyrim is coming out with new DLC.
Yeah. But
We'll be like, oh my god, shirts off, yeah!
there's no rules. But
But they're like,
the
no,
word
it's a credit system.
So, yeah. Since we didn't do introductions, we all know this is Taylor. Like I said, we're starting a new show, Fun Fact Friday with Taylor.
Yay.
That's Taylor. I'm Bobby. This is Tyler.
Yeah, hello.
We do that. There it is. But, like we always talk about, if you have anything you want to talk to us about, like maybe we just talked about, you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at generalnerdcast@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook, which is just General Nerdcast. We have Twitter, which is @GeneralNerdcast, so you can add us, bro. We do have a Patreon page if you want to help us out, kind of grow content, do more stuff, have more fun with this. You can look us up on Patreon, General Nerdcast. That's what we do.
Yeah.
If you're listening to us in the morning, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you had a good sleep.
Alright.
Hope you slumbered well.
If you're listening just in the afternoon, hope you had a great morning. Have a wonderful rest of your day. If you're just in the evening, don't listen, eat, watch while you're eating.
This is a long one to listen to, so maybe while you're cooking.
Yeah, cook. That's fine. If you're listening just right before you go to bed, or watching us, I guess I should be saying watching.
Yeah, either way.
If you're watching us right before you go to bed, you can have a great sleep. I'm just gonna stop.
We're out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Smooches.